Hello, hello. Welcome to the Journey is the Destination.
In this episode with you, Emma and
Christian. Only us.
no one else. Today for the first time we're doing a solo episode, something very, very different.
Very special for us.
Yes, very dear to our hearts, as we're gonna be talking about nonviolent communication.
How we call it is speak from your heart, because the main idea of this communication is, in fact, that you connect on a heart level with another human. So, yeah, this is where our title comes from.
And what we're gonna be doing is basically a workshop in a couple of parts that you can digest easily and listen wherever you are, wherever you go, yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, before we start, I would just like to say that if there's one thing that I would like to say to everyone to start doing that can completely change your life in all aspects, that would be the one. And I know it sounds crazy, but it's changed my, and I can also say our lives completely. Like from the upside down, but in the very best way. I feel like this is my bulletproof jacket for everything. I'm unstoppable with this.
Yeah, because what nonviolent communication offers you is basically improvement in all relationships, but as relationships are all that we have, so relationships with others and with ourselves.
So, okay. Yeah.
Without further ado,
Let's go.
welcome. As this is a form of a workshop, we invite you to take a piece of paper, maybe a pen or a nice colorful pencil, and act as if it's
If you're in a class with us.
yeah, let's say it's a class. Usually we do it in a very relaxed atmosphere, so maybe make yourself a tea, light up a candle, and just
Nice cushions around, enjoy, relax.
So yeah, the first part is gonna be a bit more theoretical, as we're gonna be setting up what it actually means to communicate and live non-violently. Then the second part is going to involve a technique that is even more interactive, and going to the third, we're gonna be experts already, and then from then on, who knows where we're gonna go.
Amazing, so let's get started. Nonviolent communication is actually a way of living. It's a whole philosophy of life. It's not even just a skill of communication. And the basic main idea is to connect on a heart level, as I already said before, and also to acknowledge the needs that we all have in our lives. So basically what that means is we all have needs, and needs are universal. So my needs are the same as your needs, are the same as everyone's needs. And the need is the core, usually the core of any emotion that we have. So what that means is if our need is satisfied, we're gonna feel happy, blissful, joyful, and all the beautiful stuff. And if our need is not satisfied, then our life is less than wonderful. So our feelings are gonna be like that: angry, afraid, frustrated, etc.
Yeah, this is exactly what Marshall Rosenberg, who came up with this system of nonviolent communication, was trying to transmit always. So basically focus on your needs and on everyone's needs, more or less. And he writes about this in many books, so maybe the one that we can recommend that's going to be down in the description is Nonviolent Communication. So kind of the basic one, but the whole theory comprises from his knowledge of psychology, but also expanding to all the experiences that he's had, and talking about parenting, and really, as
So
you can
deep,
hear,
yeah.
covers all the spectrum, and it goes super, super deep.
And it works like magic, really, if you listen to Marshall and the stories people share with you, and even we can share with you our experience, it works like magic. It's, for me, unbelievable what it does too.
Yeah, so as he's been basically working with all the different people in conflicts, he really includes in the books so many examples of people just going through literal hell and coming out understanding each other, and different sides actually agreeing to do something about the, I don't know, mass murders, war, or whatever. At the same time, in a super violent situation where somebody's almost raping someone or slitting the throat of someone, still it works. So it goes as simple as something that's making your life less than wonderful to something that's gonna kill you, and it works in all those situations to just mitigate the problem to the needs where everything can be resolved. And also, yeah, in addition to Marshall's work, he set up a foundation, well, an organization of nonviolent communication, which is also going to be done in the description, and you can find it probably in your country. There's a lot of people already working with it and spreading the word, so if you feel you connect with this,
go for it.
Yeah, find many more people there.
Great, so yeah, before we actually start with the technique and how to use this in your life, we're gonna do some basic pillars of this language. We say it's a language because actually it is a way of communicating. It is a language that you have to learn from scratch, kind of, even though I do believe that we all carry it in ourselves all the time. Yeah, before we go to a technical part, how to actually use this language in your life, we're gonna take a look at the pillars of nonviolent communication, so what is actually important to understand.
Cool, so let's just jump to the first one. So the first one, for me, the most important one for sure, is for the exercise of speaking non-violently, we're gonna emit from our vocabulary words like good and bad, and also the concepts they bring. And if we expand a bit on this, good and bad are just opinions. So we attach this so it's easier for us to transmit what we feel about something, but we get caught up in this idea that we say something is something, so we claim that we know what the state or property of someone or someone's actions or something in the world is.
Yeah, and not just that, by saying that something actually is good, you're applying that there is bad, and vice versa. So we don't want to create a world where we objectively say that some things are good or some things are bad. Well, to just like, here is also important to say, if you say it in a way of this is my opinion and I find this good, this is a much better approach to it, because you're not saying it as a universal truth.
Yes. And why this is important? Because from knowing or from implying that you know what is good and bad, there comes a kind of natural continuation to, okay, you're doing something good, so you deserve an award. Okay, you're doing something bad, so you deserve a punishment. So if we take a look at the society, for example, authorities, the system, parents, whoever, the culture is saying something is good, and you get a little pat on the back or a nice award or a lollipop. But if you do something bad, well, then you
go to jail,
or even just get a little punishment like being ignored, or you get a little punishment of not going somewhere, or you get a fine or anything in this manner. So justifying these violent actions is always coming from an implication that we know what is bad. And if we just look at what this means, every time that we do something in the name of punishment because something was done badly, then we create more violence, we create suffering, we create more pain, but all in all we're just making the world a less wonderful place. And what's the goal of nonviolent communication is making the world a better place, person by person, need by need.
Yes, and I will also add that by implying that something is good, we are actually creating like a generations of people who are trying to be good citizens, good daughters, good sons, good people, and with this comes a very depressed society because everybody's trying to be good and they're not taking care of their own needs. So yeah, behind this all good and bad, you can always see that from this comes judging and criticizing. But we would like to show you a different approach to judging and criticizing. What this actually is only our need that is not met. So when somebody is judging, criticizing, or even being angry, expressing some sad emotions or whatever, this is always a need behind that is not met. So it's never like someone is doing something bad or good or whatever. It's just that the need of a person who's judging this or criticizing it, has a need that is not met by this behavior of someone else.
So yeah, by maybe abiding by this simple idea of not attaching anything good or bad in terms of describing a world around us, we can see all the behavior, all the responses to anything that happens only as a stimulus. So everything that's happening around us just is. It's not any more bad or good, just is. And we're gonna respond to this objective thing that happened. And as soon as we can transcend the good and bad, we're also able to connect empathically. We're gonna call it empathic connection, as good and bad are always in our way to creating a heart connection between two people. Because again, going back, as we say this, we imply some criticism, some godlike position that we know something, and this creates blocks in our emotional fluidity and connection and communication. So this is a very strong thing that we have to kind of be mindful about, but once we're able to do it,
everything goes perfect. Yeah, and what you said, everything is a stimulus. So here I would like to explain this a little bit more. So nothing around you is the cause of your suffering. It's not the cause, it's only the stimulus. So this means you don't make me angry, I'm just angry, and this was a stimulus for my anger. So you don't make me sad, you don't make me this. No, this is all from me. So we take our own responsibility, our own full responsibility for all the feelings, because we see feelings now only as a result of the need to this or is not met. Yeah, then to continue, I would also like to present this very crazy idea at the first glance, and that is that we always have a choice. In any situation, you have a choice. You can choose what you want to do. So that doesn't mean we always like our choices, but we do always have a choice. And what I want to say with that, even if you're in a death situation and somebody's pointing a gun at your head and somebody says to you, if you don't get naked right now, I'm gonna kill you. Well, you have a choice. You can get naked or you can get killed. Both choices are awful, to be honest, but it is still a choice at the end of the day.
Harsh example.
Yes, it's actually Marshall's example. I didn't think of it. I think it's a Marshall's example from a guy who actually had this choice to make, and he said to Marshall, "Oh, no, Marshall, this is not true. I didn't have a choice the other day when I almost got killed, and they told me get naked or I'll kill you." So it's an example for real life, not for mine. Thank God. But yeah, it's true.
Yeah. So basically, what happens when we realize that we have a choice is brings us power to do something, because we're always able to choose, and also gives us responsibility to be, well, to watch after our actions, our words, because everything that we do is our responsibility, because nothing is done without our choosing to do so.
An equally crazy idea as well is the following one. We never want to make somebody do something that they don't want to do. So everybody has a free will to do whatever they want, and because the goal is for everyone to live in the heart and for all the actions to come from the heart, we trust that all the actions are gonna be very empathic and nice, but we don't make people do anything.
To be more in line with the title of the language, which is NonViolent Communication, the basic idea behind this is that if you force someone to do something, it creates more violence in the world. So either it's an aggression that comes directly from us demanding this person to do it, or they suffer later, or we suffer as a consequence of this, which always comes around. Because you know how it is in a relationship. If you say something and the other one says yes, but they don't really mean it, you can feel it for maybe after a week they're gonna say, but you forced me to do it. It always comes around. Like the karmic circle is always completed. There's no fooling it.
Yeah, it's true. Everybody loses at the end. So yeah, exactly what you said. Some people actually say yes, 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 but they don't want to do it, and it can come around like years later, but it will eventually come around. And everybody will suffer because of that at the end.
Then the next big idea that sounds awfully close to crazy is we don't do compromises. So in this language we never compromise, because compromise means that everybody is half happy or even less. Just Nobody is super miserable. That's the goal of compromise. But what we want is everyone to be 100% happy in the sense of all their needs are satisfied. So this is the end goal of our communication.
This sounds very unimaginable at the moment, but through the process you're gonna see what we're doing here. And yeah, and for the last thing, we would like also to mention that you can speak this nonviolent communication alone. You don't need your partner or the person you're having an argument or just a conversation with. You don't need them to know this language. You can speak it alone, and we're gonna also learn in the 3rd episode of Speak From Your Heart how to do that.
Yeah, so I think this about covers all the foundations that are really necessary to be understood when we are engaging in nonviolent interactions. But of course it's just some theory that we're gonna enhance with a little technique that we can use in practice in the next episode. And every time through every little part of this workshop we're gonna have more tools to be used in situations that come our way in actual practical settings. But for now, just try to understand what we were saying, or just see how crazy it sounds, and then come back to this feeling after the next episode, and you're gonna have more of an idea that, oh wow, it's actually so peaceful to eternalize these things. Really gives us peace of mind.
At the end, you learn by heart how to live in the heart. And maybe to finish with this idea, we will talk a lot about empathy and how to be empathic. And I would just like to make clear, this is the word that Marshall actually uses, Marshall Rosenberg, for the situations we will be describing. But to me personally, when we say empathy, it's more like compassion. We're gonna talk about compassion, actually. About really this healing presence where you just stand and accept and unconditionally allow anything to happen the way they have to happen, and you just accept it and love it in the way it is. So that's gonna be our empathy.
Yeah. We're gonna be using a lot of tools like sympathy, empathy, compassion, all the things that are really close to our hearts, because that's where they come from. So yeah, if you've never experienced this, well, good luck. Welcome aboard. But otherwise, yeah, I'm happy that we can tickle a little bit of your heart side.
I'm so happy you're here, guys. I swear, this is so life-changing. This is the most beautiful thing I have ever learned.
Well, so look at the space of this podcast for the next episode. Hopefully you enjoyed this one.
And of course, if you have someone that you know that will appreciate this knowledge, please share it with them. You can also do it together. The next episode is gonna be a workshop kind of style, so we will also ask you to do something little. So it's gonna be super fun if you have someone to do it together. Especially maybe if you want to learn it with your partner or with someone you spend a lot of time together, because it really enriches every relationship so much.
Yeah, and if you want to invite us to either mediate in a huge conflict or just do a little workshop specifically for you, don't hesitate to contact us. We just love to do it. So yeah, feel free to reach us with any little or big or crazy idea.
Please enjoy living from the heart. Have a great week. I love you so much. Bye bye.
Ciao.